Same thing?
So blacks who are sort of helping the other side, they're really helping the enemy while we destroy them. Maybe thinking they might help them will be different, or maybe, how to get off okay, or somehow I'll save my race by running for this.
Outrageous and beyond shocking. Now, we've reached out to the Clinton campaign and to Benjamin Barber asking for a comment. We've not heard back from them. If you're surprised by that video, you shouldn't be, because this is exactly who the Democrats really are, and it's exactly how Democrats really feel. This video is not just some one-off example of the feelings of Democrats and what they truly feel and the feelings they hold. It's the norm in Hillary Clinton's Democratic Party. Now, let me explain to you. Over the summer, WikiLeaks released thousands of emails from the DNC, which at the time was run by Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And what was discovered is that high-level staffers and their associates, they made racist, anti-Semitic, homophobic, misogynistic, and sexist comments. In one email, they made fun of a woman's name, quote, LaQuinia, I'm sorry, boo, I hope you get a raise with this title. And in another email, DNC staffers spoke about using Senator Bernie Sanders' Jewish faith against him in states like West Virginia and Kentucky. In a separate incident, a now former DNC finance director used a homophobic term, writing, quote, I love you too, no, when you can read it yourself. And that's not all. We also learned through WikiLeaks that the DNC approved a fake Craigslist ad that they used to attack Donald Trump that featured extremely sexist language. Now, you would think that Hillary Clinton, who accuses everybody else of saying horrible things, that she'd be so disgusted that she would disavow all of those who were involved. No, she didn't. In fact, after Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to step down as the head of the DNC, Clinton made her part of her campaign. Now, Clinton also said back in June that Wasserman Schultz is, quote, a longtime friend. Now, would you call someone who oversaw that type of conduct a longtime friend? I doubt it. And could you imagine, by the way, just for a second, if Donald Trump said or did even a fraction of this, the left in this country would go nuclear and insane. But when their own people say it, deafening silence. You can hear the crickets. That's because the Democrats have a long history of these types of remarks. Now, let's go down memory lane. Let's take a look about what they said about President Obama. You may remember this. According to the New Yorker, during the 2008 primaries, Bill Clinton said this to Senator Ted Kennedy about Obama, quote, hey, a few years ago, this guy would have been carrying our bags. Senator Harry Reid also made racist comments about Obama. According to the book Game Change, Reid was, quote, wowed by Obama's oratorical gifts and believed that the country was ready to embrace a black presidential candidate, especially one such as Obama, light-skinned, African-American, with no, quote, Negro dialect, unless he wanted to have one. And, of course, the vice president, Joe Biden, crazy Uncle Joe, he said this about Obama.
You got the first sort of mainstream African-American who is articulate and bright and clean and nice-looking guy. I mean, that's a storybook.
Storybook? Well, he's articulate, clean, takes a shower, shocking. Now, instead of recognizing their own history of rampant racism, the Democrats do what they always do, and they falsely accuse Republicans and conservatives of the very thing they are guilty of. Now, here's President Obama playing the race card and trying to tie Donald Trump to the KKK. He did this today.
If you accept the support of Klan sympathizers before you're in office, you'll accept their support.
Fucking liar.
Outrageous. Now, you would think President Obama, well, making such an explosive claim that he'd have facts to back it up, but he doesn't. He plays the race card.
Fucking liar.
Is a domestic terrorist group, and frankly, Donald Trump isn't connected to any domestic terrorist groups in any way, shape, manner, or form. Now, if we're talking about connections to domestic terrorists, well, then we should point out, of course, that President Obama's ties to the unrepentant domestic terrorists Bill Ayers and Bernardine Dohrn. Mr. President, you want to go there? Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I don't think that Donald Trump's pastor, I don't think his pastor of 20 years ever said these things.
The stuff we have done overseas is now brought right back into our own front yards. America's chickens are coming home to roost. No, not God bless America, God damn America, that's in the Bible.
That's beautiful.
Remember, Obama said he is like family to me. 20 years in the pews, but I had no idea he thought this way. Hillary Clinton, she's also made similar accusations against Donald Trump, trying to paint him as a supporter of the KKK, while ignoring her very own relationship to someone who was actually in the Ku Klux Klan. And
Robert
Hillary
Byrd
said about her mentor, former Klansman Robert KKK Byrd, right after he died.
Senator Byrd was a man of surpassing eloquence and nobility. From my first
Pig.
day in the Senate, I sought out his guidance, and he was always
Such a
generous with
pig.
his time and his wisdom. I admired his tireless
Oh
advocacy
God,
for
don't
his
make me
West
hate my
Virginia
president.
constituents. As Secretary of State, I continued to rely on his advice and counsel.
Her mentor. How's she praising someone like that? Now keep in mind, this is the same Robert Byrd that said this on Tony's Snow Show years ago.
Are white. I've seen a lot of white in my time when you use that word. But we just need to work together to make our country a better country.
That guy, right there, former Klansman, Hillary Clinton's
This is
mentor.
beautiful.
Now, Clinton and the Democrats, for decades, they tried to wrongfully strike fear into the hearts of African-American voters. Take a look at Al Gore going into his preacher voice and saying this.
It's wrong what the leader of the Republican Party and this Congress are doing in blocking an accurate census because they don't want to count everyone that they don't think they can count on. They are in favor of affirmative action if you can dunk the basketball or sink a three-point shot. But they're not in favor of it if you merely have the potential to be a leader in your community and bring people together. Don't tell me we've got a colorblind society.
Then he went on to say Republicans don't even want to count black Americans in the census. Now, Clinton and the Democrats have also relentlessly pandered to African-American voters by doing things like this.
I don't feel no ways tired. I come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy.
Now, why does Al Gore and Hillary change their tone, their pitch, their cadence, their entire delivery if they go before predominantly black audiences? Now, we also cannot ignore Hillary Clinton's claims to be the champion of human rights, women's rights, gay rights. Remember, the Clinton Foundation accepted millions and millions and millions in donations from countries that treat women, gays and lesbians, and religious minorities horribly.
Yep.
Her foundation has taken millions of dollars from countries like Saudi Arabia. Look at the money right there that they gave to the Clintons and the Clinton Foundation, Kuwait, the UAE, Brunei, Qatar, Oman, Algeria. Joining us with Reaction. Nationally syndicated radio talk show host, our friend Larry Elder is with us. I hear you're at a big event tonight. Is that true?
I am. I'm here in Colorado, another swing state. We're going to Ohio tomorrow, and then Pennsylvania. Did Nevada yesterday.
Awesome. You know, one of the reasons when the president came out with that Klan comment today, I can't take it. I can't tolerate, as a conservative, Larry Elder, you want to say something horrible about somebody, call them a racist. And the Democrats do this every single election season. And what the President of the United States and the Clinton campaign are doing by playing this card is a national disgrace and a lie. But it's the very thing they themselves, behind closed doors, are guilty of.
And Sean, it is nothing new. They say behind closed doors what they often say in public, and they get a pass. Claire McCaskill, when she first ran for Senate, said George W. Bush let people die on rooftops in New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina because they were poor and they were black. Gloria Allred referred to Condoleezza Rice and Colin Powell when they were in the Bush administration as, quote, Uncle Tom types. Barney Frank was talking about Hurricane Katrina, and he said George Bush responded sluggishly because he wanted ethnic cleansing by inaction. And Harry Belafonte, Sean, said exactly in public what that man said in private. He said he was calling George W. Bush a racist, and somebody pointed out that Bush had appointed a lot of blacks to high positions, referring to Condi Rice and Colin Powell. And Harry Belafonte said, well, Hitler had a lot of Jews higher up in the hierarchy as well. So they say it publicly. You had Charlie Rangel saying that Republicans don't say N-word anymore or F-word anymore. They just say, let's cut taxes. I can go on and on and on. Joe Biden gives a speech before a black audience in 2012, and he's criticizing Mitt Romney for not wanting further regulation on Wall Street. And he tells his black audience he wants to unchain Wall Street, wants to put y'all back in chains. They do it all the time. They use the race card as a sword and as a shield.
And you can't go to a 7-Eleven unless you have a slight, or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I guess the only thing is this by the President of the United States. They this is identity politics. They play the race card. They play the gender card. All these tactics, they divide this country, rich versus poor, black versus white, young versus old. It never stops. And of course, every Republican, every conservative wants to take grandma in her wheelchair and throw her over the cliff and kill her. And meanwhile, grandma now is paying on average $4,100 a year per family in health care costs because of Hillary.
Thank
Obama.
you.
And Sean, the goal is to tell black people that the number one problem facing the black community is racism. Not bad schools, not the breakdown of the family, not jobs, it's racism. So you have Debbie Wasserman Schultz, when she was head of the DNC, saying the Republican Party wants to drag us back to Jim Crow, wants to turn back the clock on civil rights. Why don't you name the name? Is Paul Ryan out to commit genocide? Is Mitch McConnell out to commit genocide? Is Ted Cruz out to commit genocide? It is ridiculous, but they know that it works. It's a dog whistle that they blow, and a lot of black people buy into it because the Democratic Party has taught black people that they are victims.
There you go.
Those guys over there, those Republicans are victimizers, and by the way, we wear the white horse, or we wear the white hat, and ride the white horse, and we're the saviors. And a lot of people have bought into it.
Yep.
All right, Larry, we always appreciate you being here. Good
Yep,
luck at your
yep,
event
yep,
tonight.
yep,
Thank you
yep.
for being with us.
My pleasure.
And coming up, according to reports, the FBI has uncovered emails on Anthony Weiner's laptop that are related to Hillary Clinton's tenure as Secretary of State. And by the way, they're not duplicates. Ed Henry has a full live report tonight. Plus, we'll get reaction from former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani and Laura Ingraham, and also later tonight.
The Clintons. From dead broke to worth hundreds of millions. So how did Hillary end up filthy rich? Pay-to-play politics.
Donald Trump highlights Hillary Clinton's corrupt practices. We'll check in with Jason Miller, Laura Ingraham, and you're going to meet the mother of a young man who served this country and took 6 pictures inside a submarine. He's in jail tonight. Hillary Clinton, she's running for president. Wait till we show you
That's
the video.
right.
You're going to want to record this and send it to all your friends. Straight ahead.
Over 1 million hotels, flights, and